The rain-slicked alley reeked of garbage and regret, and as the blade pressed cold against my throat, I realized the novel's prophecy wasn't fiction, it was my obituary. I'd trusted him, page after dog-eared page, only to watch the plot twist into this nightmare where betrayal wore his face. But then his voice cut through the storm, not with a villain's sneer, but a desperate plea. "Alex, don't. It's not what you think." I staggered back, the mugger's grip loosening just enough for me to bolt, heart pounding like a war drum as I splashed through puddles toward the glowing haze of Broadway's lights. New York never slept, but tonight it felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for me to unravel. My name's Alex Rivera, 27, a bookstore clerk in Chelsea with a penchant for escapist romances that promised happy endings I could never quite believe in. Growing up in a cramped Queens apartment with a mom who baked empanadas and whispered prayers against the world's cruelties, I'd learned early that love was a luxury for straight folks. My dad split when I was 10, muttering about fixing cars instead of facing his son's questions about the boys in gym class. By high school, I was the quiet kid sketching crushes in margins, hiding behind hoodies and half-smiles. That mugging, it was the spark that ignited everything. But the real fire started 3 months earlier, in the dog-eared pages of Shadows of Us, an indie gay romance I'd shelved on a whim. The protagonist, Jamie, falls for a brooding artist named Theo who mirrors my own buried dreams. Talented, tormented, too good to be true. Their love unfolds in stolen kisses amid Manhattan's chaos. But midway, Theo betrays Jamie for a gallery deal, shattering him into a ghost of himself. I devoured it in one shift, tears blurring the print, convinced it was catharsis. Little did I know, life had its own sequel queued up. Enter Liam Harper. He wandered into Page Turner's on a sweltering July afternoon, all 6 feet of effortless charm in faded jeans and a threadbare Ramones tee, scanning the LGBTQ+ section like he owned the stacks. His green eyes caught mine over a spine of Audre Lorde, and he grinned. That crooked, disarming tilt that made my stomach flip. "Looking for something that doesn't end in heartbreak?" he asked, voice like gravel wrapped in honey. I laughed, too loud, fumbling a stack of paperbacks. "Most do. You." He leaned on the counter, close enough for me to catch his scent, clean soap and faint citrus. "Nah, I write him. Or try to." Liam, by the way. A writer. Of course. We talked for an hour past closing, about plot holes in queer lit, and the ache of unrequited crushes. He bought Shadows of Us, flipping it open right there, and by week's end, we were grabbing coffee at that hole in the wall on Christopher Street. Liam was 29, a freelance illustrator scraping by on commissions, crashing with roommates in Bushwick. His laugh was infectious, his stories laced with vulnerability. Losing his evangelical parents in Ohio after coming out at 19, hustling through art school on scholarships and spite. He sketched me once, over lattes, capturing the worry lines I hid behind sarcasm. "You're more than the quiet guy in the bookstore," he said, sliding the napkin my way. "You're the hero who sticks around for the messy parts." Our first real date was at the High Line, sunset painting the city gold as we shared falafel from a cart. He took my hand without fanfare, fingers intertwining like they'd always known the shape. Kissing him felt like exhaling after years underwater, soft, urgent, tasting of hummus and home. But doubts crept in early. Liam's phone buzzed constantly with cryptic texts he dismissed as old friends, and he'd vanish for hours, returning with smudged charcoal on his knuckles and excuses about deadlines. I pushed it down, telling myself it was paranoia from too many bad novels. Friendship anchored us. There was Riley, my best friend since Pratt Institute days, a fiery lesbian photographer with a pixie cut and zero filter. She met Liam at a gallery opening in Soho, eyeing him like a suspect. "He's got that tortured artist vibe," she warned over beers at our usual dive, the Stonewall Inn. "Hot, but high risk. Remember Derek?" Derek was my ex, the finance bro who'd ghosted after his promotion, leaving me questioning every "I love you." Riley's girlfriend, Sam, a soft-spoken therapist with braids and boundless empathy, balanced her out. "Give him a chance, Alex. Not everyone's a plot twist." Then there was Marcus, Liam's childhood buddy from Ohio, visiting for Fashion Week. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a beard that screamed reformed jock, he crashed our dinners, regaling us with tales of their teenage escapades, sneaking into barns to stargaze, Marcus covering for Liam's first boyfriend. "This one's a keeper," Marcus told me one night, clapping my shoulder after 2 mini IPAs. "Liam doesn't let people in easy." But Marcus's eyes lingered on Liam a beat too long, and I caught whispers when they thought I was in the kitchen, something about the accident and not telling him yet. Misunderstandings simmered like the August heat. One night, post-argument with a client, Liam showed up at the bookstore soaked from a downpour, collapsing into my arms with sobs that shook us both. "I can't do this alone anymore," he whispered, and I held him until dawn, our bodies tangled in innocent comfort on my futon. But the next day, he pulled away, mumbling about space. My mind raced to shadows of us, Theo's cold withdrawal before the knife twist. Was this the prelude? Prejudices lurked in shadows too. My mom, Elena, adored Liam at first, stuffing him with arroz con pollo, calling him mi hijo. But when Abuela visited from Florida, her rosary beads clicked like judgments. Un hombre con un hombre. Dios mío. Alex, what about grandkids? She crossed herself, eyes pitying. Liam overheard, retreating to the fire escape with a forced smile. "It's fine," he said later, but his sketches turned jagged, figures fracturing into shards. The first real conflict erupted at Riley's birthday bash in her Williamsburg loft. Fairy lights strung like stars, bass thumping from a playlist of Chappell Roan and Troye Sivan. Liam arrived late, eyes bloodshot, claiming traffic. But Riley pulled me aside, her voice low. "Saw him earlier, outside that bar on Bedford. With some guy, intense, handsy." My chest caved. I confronted him in the bathroom, mirror fogged from the party's steam. "Who was he, Liam?" "Another Theo." His face crumpled. "It's not. God, Alex, you think I'd cheat?" He grabbed my wrist, pulse racing under his thumb. "That was Marcus. We're fighting about old shit." But the seed planted, watered by my insecurities. I stormed out, wandering the bridge at midnight, city lights mocking my tears. Friendship frayed too. Riley apologized the next day, Sam mediating with tea and tissues. "We're all scared of losing," she said. "Talk to him." Reconciliation came haltingly, over pie at a diner in Midtown. Liam confessed fragments. The accident was a car crash back home, him behind the wheel, high on grief after his breakup. Marcus had covered, but guilt festered. "I draw to forget," he admitted, tracing my palm. "But you make me remember why it's worth facing." We rebuilt, brick by tentative brick, movie nights with popcorn fights, walks in Central Park where he'd read me his unfinished manuscript, a queer fantasy where heroes chose each other over curses. Yet surprises lurked. October brought Liam's big break, a gallery show in Chelsea, his illustrations of fractured loves earning buzz. I beamed from the crowd, but during the toast, a woman in red, elegant, mid-40s, approached. "Theo's mother," she said, voice like silk over steel. "Heard so much about you, Alex." "Theo?" My blood iced. Liam's manuscript echoed shadows of us, too closely. The betrayal, the art deal. Was he plagiarizing my favorite book? Or worse, living it? That night, he found me pacing my apartment, book clutched like a shield. "It's research," he insisted, but his eyes darted. "I read it too, fell in love with the pain. But you're my rewrite." Doubt gnawed, but his kiss silenced it, tender and true. We dove deeper, vulnerabilities bared. My fear of abandonment, his terror of inadequacy. Friends rallied. Marcus opened up about the crash, absolving Liam's self-blame. Riley snapped photos of us at the show, captioning "real plot twist, happy." But climax brewed in November's chill. Abuela's health scare pulled me to Florida. Gallstones, nothing fatal, but her words lingered. "Find a nice girl, Mijo. This life, it's lonely." Back in the city, Liam planned a surprise weekend in the Catskills, cabin rented, leaves aflame. En route, his phone lit up, Theo's mother again, voicemail urgent. "We need to talk about the accident. The real one." He pulled over, face ashen. "Alex, I have to tell you everything." The confession spilled. Years ago, pre-Liam's sobriety, he dated a guy named Theo, not from the book, but real, raw. A fight, a drive, a crash where Theo walked away unscathed. But Liam carried the scar of almost killing them both. Theo's family sued quietly, NDA signed. But now they wanted more. Money for silence on Liam's instability. I changed my name after, he whispered. Harper's a fresh start. But you're my truth. Betrayal? Not quite. But the lie of omission sliced deep. I fled the car, hiking alone through frost-kissed woods, echoes of the novel's twist mocking me. How could I trust a man who'd buried his ghosts? Hours later, he found me by a frozen stream, hands outstretched. I didn't want to lose you before we began. His voice broke, and in that vulnerability, I saw not the villain, but the hero rewriting his arc. We returned to the city fractured but fighting. Prejudices peaked. My mom confronted me over FaceTime, tears streaming. He's hiding, Alex. Like your father. Riley and Sam hosted an intervention, candles flickering as Liam arrived, sketchpad in hand. He drew us all. Portraits of resilience, flaws woven into beauty. This is us, he said. Messy real. No more secrets. The high tide crashed at the gallery's closing reception. Theo appeared, uninvited, sleek in a suit, eyes hungry for drama. You stole my story, he sneered at Liam, voice carrying. Gasps rippled, flashes popped. Theo claimed the crash was Liam's sabotage for a rival's affections, twisting facts into venom. The room spun, prejudice incarnate, the straight world's judgment in a queer space. But Liam stood firm, microphone seized. No, I loved you, Theo. Flawed, fierce. The crash was my mistake, my pain. But Alex? He's the one who taught me redemption isn't a plot device. It's choice. He turned to me, hands shaking. I choose you. Every day. Yet tension lingered, a quiet storm. December dawned with snow dusting the streets. Our first holiday as survivors. Mom flew up, abuela in tow, begrudging acceptance thawing over tamales. He looks at you like me Carlos did me, Mom admitted, eyes soft. Liam's parents? A letter arrived, and signed but hopeful. Proud of the man you're becoming. Our love deepened in subtleties. Lazy Sundays tracing tattoos, debates over takeout curries, nights where fears voiced became bridges. The novel? I finished a new one, dedicating it to Liam. Heroes who hold on. But fate loves a twist. New Year's Eve, Times Square glittering, we joined the throng. Fireworks boomed, confetti rained. In the crush, a pickpocket slashed my bag, wallet gone, but worse, Liam's sketchbook stolen, our memories in ink. Panic surged. I bolted after the thief, alley-bound, rain starting anew. Cornered, blade out, the mugger snarled, hand it over. That's when it looped back, the blade at my throat, rain blurring his face into Theo's ghost. But Liam's voice pierced. Alex. He charged, no weapon but will, tackling the guy in a blur of limbs and shouts. We wrestled free, book reclaimed, sirens wailing distant. Collapsed against a dumpster, my hands shook. He clasped them, steady as stone. Not letting go, he breathed. Never. In that alley, the novel's betrayal dissolved. He'd changed the storyline, not with grand gestures, but this, presence in peril. We limped home, bandaged and bonded, toasting with cheap Prosecco as dawn broke. Friendship mended fully, Riley's exhibit featuring our portraits, Sam's group therapy sessions forging unbreakable ties. Surprises sweetened the end. Liam's book deal landed, our story veiled as fiction. Prejudices faded. Abuela sent a rainbow scarf, knitted with love. Conflicts resolved not in perfection, but persistence. Love as verb, not vow. And me? The quiet clerk became co-author, life our unwritten page. In New York's endless hum, we walked hand in hand, plot twists be damned. Because sometimes, the hero doesn't save the day alone. He holds your shaking hands, and together, you rewrite the stars. The winter sun slanted low over Prospect Park, casting long shadows that danced like forgotten promises across the snow-dusted paths. Liam and I had claimed a bench near the lake, mugs of hot cider steaming between us, the kind from that vendor who always snuck in extra cinnamon for the cute couple. It was mid-January now, 2 weeks since the alley, and the bruises on his knuckles from the scuffle had faded to yellow ghosts. But the weight in my chest? That lingered, a quiet echo of what-ifs. You ever think about the what-ifs? I asked, watching a pair of skaters glide by, their laughter sharp against the chill. Liam tilted his head, that familiar lock of auburn hair falling over his brow. He brushed it back, green eyes steady on mine. All the time. Like, what if I'd never walked into your store? What if Theo's crash had ended differently? He paused, sipping his cider, the steam curling like secrets. But then I look at you, and they're just noise. I wanted to believe him. God, I did. Our nights since had been a balm, slow dances in my tiny kitchen to Nina Simone records, his fingers mapping the freckles on my shoulders like constellations. No rush, no heat beyond the warmth of shared breath. Just us, piecing the fragile thing we'd built. Yet doubts whispered. Was this the calm before another storm? The novel's shadow clung, its betrayal a blueprint I couldn't unsee. Riley texted mid-sentence. Dinner tonight? Sam's making vegan lasagna. Bring your brooding artist. I smiled, pocketing the phone. Friend's orders. You in? Always. He linked our arms, pulling me up. We wandered back toward the subway, boots crunching frost, talking about everything and nothing. His latest commission for a queer zine. My dream of opening a pop-up library for underserved kids in the Bronx. Liam listened like it was scripture, nodding at my rants about gentrification swallowing our neighborhoods. You're gonna do it, Alex. I see it. Home was my walk-up in the East Village, a shoebox with exposed brick and a fire escape that doubled as our summer reading nook. Mom had sent care packages, flan and Tupperware, St. Medals for protection, her way of mothering without meddling. Abuela's scarf hung on the coat rack, its rainbow stripes a quiet victory. Liam crashed there most nights now, his Bushwick sublet gathering dust. That evening, as we bundled into coats for Riley's, the doorbell buzzed, an unexpected delivery. A slim package, no return address, wrapped in brown paper. Liam's eyes lit up. Fan mail? For the show? I slid it open, revealing a battered journal, pages yellowed, handwriting looping in faded ink. Theo's. The note clipped inside was curt. Found this in my things. Thought you'd want closure. E.H. His mother. Liam's face drained of color. He sank onto the bed, journal trembling in his lap. I can't. Alex, this is from before. The crash, the everything. We were late to dinner, but Riley didn't pry when we arrived disheveled, Liam's sketchpad forgotten on the counter. Sam's loft smelled of garlic and basil, fairy lights twinkling over exposed beams. Rough day? Sam asked, handing me a glass of red, her braids swaying as she hugged Liam. Just ghosts, he muttered, forcing a smile. Over lasagna, chewy noodles layered with spinach and cashew cream. The conversation flowed easy at first. Riley regaled us with tales from her latest shoot, a drag brunch in Harlem, queens slaying in sequence. One of them clocked you two immediately, she said, winking. Said you give main character energy. Laughter bubbled, easing the knot in my gut. But as plates cleared, Marcus called Liam, speaker on, his voice booming from Ohio. Hey man, got news. The folks, they're coming to the city. Next month. Want to meet you. Properly. Silence blanketed the table. Liam's parents, the ones who'd shipped him off after his coming out, radio silence for a decade. What changed, he asked, voice raw. Your book deal. Saw the article in the alumni mag. They're proud, Lee, terrified, but proud. We toasted awkwardly, glasses clinking like fragile ice. Sam, ever the therapist, steered us to lighter waters. Boundaries, remember? You set the pace. Riley nodded, squeezing my knee under the table. Friendship was our lifeline. These women who'd seen me shatter and superglued to pieces. Back home, the journal waited like a siren. Liam flipped it open reluctantly, pages crackling with youth. Sketches of barns and boys, poems scrawled in margins, odes to first loves, Theo's name etched like a brand. He was my everything, Liam whispered, tracing a faded heart. Then the fight. I was drunk, raging about his closet. Said I'd drive us to the bridge, prove I could handle it. Skidded on ice. I sat beside him, hand on his back. You survived. That's the story. But the lies after, the NDA, changing my name. I buried him to bury me. Tears welled, spilling hot. I pulled him close, his head on my shoulder, sobs muffled in my shirt. No words fixed it, just presence, the steady thrum of my heartbeat against his ear. Misunderstandings multiplied in February's frenzy. Liam's parents' visit loomed, a ticking bomb. He withdrew, sketching furiously, dark figures tangled in thorns. My shifts at the bookstore stretched, customers blurring into a haze. One afternoon, a regular, Jordan, an out-trans man with a beard like tumbleweed and a laugh like thunder, noticed my distraction. Trouble in Paradise, Rivera? Family drama. His folks first meet after years. Jordan whistled, stacking his haul of sci-fi. Mind disown me for less. Go slow, kid. Love's worth the gauntlet, but armor up. Advice stuck as we prepped the apartment. Neutral decor, no rainbows screaming agenda. Mom offered to host, but Liam insisted. Our turf. The night arrived blustery, snow flurrying as Eleanor and Paul Harper knocked, bearing pie from a Midwestern bakery. Eleanor was steel-haired, eyes like Liam's but guarded. Paul, barrel-chested, fidgeted with his coat. Handshake stiff, small talk stilted over coffee. The illustrations are lovely, Eleanor said, glancing at a framed sketch on the wall. Us, stylized as knights. Reminds me of his boyhood drawings. Paul cleared his throat. We regret the silence. After you left, we prayed. A lot. Liam's jaw tightened. Prayer didn't stop the letters calling me abomination. The air thickened, prejudices laid bare, not malice, but the slow poison of denial. I mediated, voice even. He's built something real here. Art, love. Us. Eleanor's gaze softened on me. And you, Alex? What do you do? Books, I said. Selling stories that heal. Paul nodded slowly. We read his manuscript. The one about choices. Hit close. Tears brimmed in Liam's eyes. Then why'd it take this? Because we were scared, Eleanor admitted. Of losing you more. Hugs followed, tentative. Paul's backslap, Eleanor's whisper, be kind to him. He's our light. They left with promises of brunch, the pie half-eaten on the counter. Relief washed us, but tension simmered. Liam crashed into me that night, kisses fierce but chaste, bodies aligning in silent affirmation. Thank you, he murmured, for holding the line. Friendship buffered the aftershocks. Riley organized a debrief, hike in the Palisades, Sam packing trail mix laced with affirmations notes. Marcus joined via video, toasting from a bar in Columbus. You slayed, bro. Now live. Spring teased with crocuses in March, but conflict crested unexpectedly. Theo's journal hit a bombshell, a letter tucked in the back, dated post-crash. To Liam, I forgive you, but I need to know, did you ever love me? Or was it the thrill? Unsent, but damning in its doubt. Liam found it first, crumpling it in fury. He thought, God, Alex, I did love him. But not like this. Not like you. Doubt flared in me, jealousy, irrational, of a ghost. Then why keep the journal? To remember not to run. He cupped my face. You're my anchor. We burned it that weekend, pyre in a metal bowl on the fire escape, ashes scattering on the wind. Catharsis, Riley called it later, over mimosas at her studio. Phoenix vibes. Yet surprises unfolded sweetly. Liam's book launch loomed, Rewritten Hearts, Our Veiled Tale. Invites went out. Friends, family, even Theo's mother, who RSVP'd with a note. Peace offering. The night buzzed in a Greenwich Village hall, banners fluttering, wine flowing. I emceed, voice steady. Stories aren't blueprints. They're invitations to change. Liam read an excerpt. Our alley moment, hands clasped in rain, drawing sniffles and sighs. Eleanor and Paul beamed from the front row, Abuela beside them in her scarf, nodding approval. Mom clutched tissues, whispering, me or Gulo. Post-reading, a line formed for signings. Theo appeared at the fringe, unannounced, glass in hand. No sneer this time, just weariness. Heard about the book. It's good. Honest. Liam froze. I tensed. But Theo extended a hand. No more shadows. Congrats. Handshake sealed. He vanished into the crowd. Closure, unbidden. Afterglow spilled into afterparty at the Stonewall, toasts ringing. Riley danced with Sam, hips swaying. Marcus FaceTime cheers. Liam pulled me to a corner booth, forehead to mine. You changed it all. Love bloomed in the quiet beats. Walks along the Hudson at dusk, his head on my lap as I read poetry aloud. Prejudices? Mom's church group hosted a panel on queer families. Abuela knitted another scarf, this one for Eleanor. But climax whispered in April showers. A call from the gallery. Theo's suing for defamation, claiming the book stole his likeness. Panic surged. Lawyers, headlines, our fragile world cracking. Liam's face fell. I thought we were free. Not yet, I said, gripping his hands. But together, we fight the rewrite. Lawyers smelled blood in the water, circling like sharks in pinstripes. We met in a stuffy midtown office, rain lashing the windows as if the city wept for us. Mr. Kessler, our pro bono advocate from the Lambda legal hotline, silver fox with a bow tie and a no-nonsense drawl, flipped through rewritten hearts, annotations in red pen. It's fiction, gentlemen. Vague enough to dodge libel. But Theo's team? They're banking on emotional distress, dredging the crash. Liam slouched, elbows on knees, green eyes hollow. This'll kill the launch. Everything. Not if we counter, Kessler said, tapping the desk. With truth. Your truth. Mine. I was the outsider here, the boyfriend thrust into legalese. Back at the apartment, I paced while Liam sketched absent-mindedly, thorned hearts bleeding ink. What if they win, he murmured. Drag it all up. The drinking, the NDA. You'll see me as the villain. I knelt before him, hands on his thighs. I see the man who tackled a mugger for my sketches. The one who burns ghosts with me. Our gaze locked, tension coiling, not desire, but the raw wire of shared fear. He pulled me up, embrace fierce, chins hooked over shoulders. We're in this plot together. Friends mobilized like an underground resistance. Riley, ever the visual warrior, mocked up protest graphics. Art not lies. Rainbows slashing black bars. Sam facilitated strategy sessions over Zoom, her calm dissecting Kessler's briefs. Focus on empowerment, she advised. Turn attack into allyship. Marcus flew in, beard trimmed, suitcase stuffed with Ohio comfort food, Buckeyes and bad jokes. Screw Theo, he declared over pizza in the park, pigeons scattering at his volume. He bailed after the crash, left you holding the bag. This, karma's plot hole. Even family stepped up. Mom arrived with Tupperware armies, pastelitos for the legal team, and a fierceness I'd only seen in telenovelas. Nobody messes with my boys, she said, kissing our cheeks. Abuela sent a package, rosary beads restrung with rainbow thread. For strength, Mijo. Dios understands love. Prejudices reared in the press, tabloids splashing queer-lit feud, betrayal or fabrication, with grainy photos of the gallery night. Online trolls swarmed Liam's feeds, slinging slurs that curdled my stomach. But supporters surged too, queer authors tweeting solidarity, bookstores hosting read-alouds of the manuscript. The deposition loomed in late April, a sterile conference room in Lower Manhattan. Theo sat opposite, suit crisp, eyes evasive behind designer frames. His lawyer, a shark in pearls, grilled Liam. You modeled the betrayer on my client, correct? The crash, the art ambitions, coincidences. Liam's voice held steady, hands clasped under the table, mind squeezing back. Inspired, yes, but transformed. My book heals, it doesn't harm. Theo shifted, glancing my way. Regret flickered? Or calculation? When it was his turn, he faltered. It hurt, reading it. Felt exposed. But maybe I was the one who ran. Kessler pounced, filing for dismissal on mutual retraction. Days blurred into waiting. Nights where Liam traced my spine with fingertips, mapping safety. You're my constant, he'd whisper, breaths sinking in the dark. Surprise struck mid-May. Theo dropped the suit. A letter arrived, handwritten. I was angry, stuck in my own story. Your book's a mirror. Keep writing. T. Relief crashed like waves. We celebrated with a picnic in Washington Square. Blanket spread, falafel platter, Riley strumming guitar. To plot twists that don't suck, she toasted, clinking bottles. But conflict simmered beneath. Liam's parents, buoyed by the win, proposed a family trip, Amish country, neutral ground. Reconnect. Eleanor urged over brunch at Ellen's Stardust Diner. Waiters crooning 50s hits. Paul nodded, Piefork paused. No preaching. Promise. Liam hesitated, eyes on me. Alex. I swallowed prejudice's echo, my own family's messy reunions. Go. I'll hold the fort. He left a week later, train to Ohio humming with nerves. Texts trickled, scenic farms, awkward silences thawing over pie. Then, radio silence, 2 days. Panic clawed, I imagined blow-ups, old wounds ripped. Riley found me at the bookstore, shelves blurring through tears. Call Marcus. He answered on the first ring. Chill, Alex. They're fine. Deep talks. Liam opened up about you, the book. Parents cried. Good tears. Reunion at Penn Station was cinematic. Liam emerging from the crowd, duffel slung, face sun-kissed and soft. He dropped it, arms enveloping me. Missed my anchor. Stories spilled over dinner at our spot. Conversations by creeks, Eleanor's admission of therapy, Paul's vow to march in pride. They get it now, Liam said, fork twirling pasta. Not perfect, but trying. Friendship deepened in the glow. Sam and Riley announced their engagement. Quiet ceremony in the Berkshires. Us as witnesses. You too inspired it, Sam said, hugging us. Seeing love fight back. June bloomed humid, Pride Month electric. We marched with Mom and Abuela, rainbows fluttering. Eleanor and Paul waving from the sidelines, signs reading proud parents. The energy pulsed, drums, chants, bodies a sea of glitter and grit. But tension peaked at the parade's end, float stages thumping. A counter-protester shoved through, megaphone blaring scripture. Repent. Spittle flew, fists clenched. Liam stepped forward, voice calm. Love isn't sin. It's survival. The crowd roared support. Security swarmed. In the chaos, I lost him, heart-stopping seconds scanning faces. Found him by a hydrant, helping a fallen teen adjust their binder. Gentle instructions murmured. Breathe. You've got this. My hero again. We linked arms, weaving home through confetti streets. Misunderstandings? One lingered, Liam's sketches turning inward, figures solitary. Burnout, he claimed, but I saw fear. Of success's spotlight, of losing the quiet us. I confronted him gently, over rooftop stargazing, city haze dimming constellations. Talk to me. No more burying. He exhaled, head on my shoulder. Scared it'll change us. The book, the buzz, what if I become Theo? Chasing acclaim over you. Then we rewrite. I said, fingers in his hair. Together. He nodded, sketching then and there. Us, entwined under stars, thorns bloomed to roses. Surprises cascaded. Gallery extension for Liam's show, my pop-up library greenlit by a nonprofit grant. Friends through a joint launch, books and readings under tents in Tompkins Square. Climax crested unexpectedly. During the event, a publisher approached me. Your dedication in Liam's book? Poetic. Ever thought of writing? Me? The quiet one? But seeds planted, watered by Liam's grin. Do it. Our story, your voice. Fall whispered in with equinox winds, leaves carpeting paths. Family blended. Thanksgiving at Mom's, Harper's joining via video, then in person for Christmas. Prejudices? Faded to footnotes. Loved the bold print. Our arc? No tidy bow. Tensions ebbed, flowed. Arguments over dishes, makeup slow dances. But through it, growth. Liam's sobriety meetings, my therapy unpacking Dad's ghost. New Year's dawned crisp, ball dropping in pixels on TV. To us, Liam toasted, hands in mine, steady sure. The novel lied. Betrayal? A detour. He held me, changed everything. January's frost clung stubborn, mirroring the chill in our routines as the new year settled like dust. Liam's book climbed indie charts, signings popping up from Brooklyn to Boston, but success's shine revealed cracks, late nights hunched over revisions, his laughter thinning at edges. I buried myself in the pop-up library planning. Grant forms a fortress against worry. It's temporary, he'd say, kissing my temple before dawn departures. But temporary felt like erosion. Riley noticed first, cornering me at her engagement party, a cozy affair in Sam's aunt's garden, string lights winking like fireflies. He's fading, Alex. That post-tour glow? Gone. She swirled her sangria, eyes sharp. And you? Enabling it with your hero complex. Sam overheard, pulling us into a hug. Not blame. Balance. Talk before it tips. Marcus, visiting for the holidays tale, echoed over basketball at the courts, him dunking, me guarding half-heartedly. Lee's always burned hot, crashed hard. After the crash, pun not intended, he drew non-stop, avoided mirrors. You gotta pull him back. I tried that night, post-party, as snow flurried outside our window. Liam scrolled emails, face lit blue. Babe, sit. Just us. He complied, curling into me on the couch, head on my chest. "What's eating you?" I asked, fingers combing his hair. Theo called, voice muffled. "Not for drama. Apology tour. Saw the book. Wants amends. Lunch. Jealousy spiked. Irrational thorn. You going?" "Thought you'd come." Neutral ground. We met at a cafe in Tribeca, Theo arriving in chinos and humility, coffee steaming between us. Older now, lines etching laugh or worry, he stirred sugar endlessly. "I was the betrayer," he admitted, eyes on Liam. "Pushed you away post-crash, blamed you for my closet. Seeing your story. Ouch." Liam nodded, tense. "Forgiven long ago. But why now? Turning 40. Single, soberish. Your book's a kick. Live authentically." His gaze shifted to me. "You too? Goals. Treat him right, Alex. He deserves epic." Handshakes parted us, but the encounter stirred sediment. Liam sketched Theo that evening, not vengeful, but layered, man with shadows lifting. "Closure feels light," he said. Yet misunderstandings brewed. My library pop-up launched in February, a converted truck parked in Bronx lots, shelves brimming with diverse voices. Kids swarmed, eyes wide on Heartstopper and Simon Versus. But one afternoon, a parent cornered me. "This queer stuff? Indoors, maybe. Not shoving it at my boy." Prejudice stung, fresh. I vented to Liam over takeout, his fork pausing. "Call security next time." Or me. But his protectiveness chafed, smacking of control, not care. "I'm not fragile," I snapped. "Handle my own fights." Silence stretched, heavy. He retreated to the fire escape, cigarette unlit between fingers. Habit, not vice. Apology came at dawn, coffee in bed. "Sorry. Just hate seeing you hurt." "Fear's mutual," I admitted. "Your tours, the distance. Feels like losing ground." We recommitted. Date nights mandatory, phones down post-date. Friendship fortified. Riley's wedding planning became our escape. Tastings and fittings a whirl of laughter. "You two are my muses," she declared, veil askew. Spring's thaw brought surprises. Liam's agent pitched a graphic novel collab. My words, his art, a queer fairy tale of knights and curses broken by choice. Our origin, he grinned, pitching over sketches in Central Park, cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti. Excitement bubbled, but conflict loomed in May. Eleanor's health scare, hip replacement, routine but rattling, pulled Liam Midwest. "Go," I urged, packing his bag. "Family first." He returned hollow-eyed, tales of hospital vigils and Paul's hand squeezes. They asked about us. Future stuff, rings, vows. My heart stuttered. And scared me. Good scared. He paused, vulnerable. "You? Ready when you are." But doubt nipped. Was I? Dad's abandonment echoed. Love's permanence a myth. Mom sensed it, inviting us for Mother's Day in Queens. Backyard barbecue. Cousins grilling arepas. Abuela pulled me aside, rosary clicking. "He looks at you like a prayer answered. Don't let fear unanswered prayers." Her wisdom stuck as summer hummed in. The graphic novel took shape. Late nights brainstorming, my prose weaving his visuals into magic. Theo even contributed a forward, anonymous nod to redemption. Tension peaked at Pride again, floats thumping bass through veins. We volunteered at a booth, free books, stickers, when a storm of counter-protesters surged, signs thrusting like spears. Shouts escalated. A bottle flew, shattering near Riley's feet. Chaos erupted. Pushes, screams. Liam shielded a kid, me pulling Sam clear. In the melee, his arm twisted wrong, crack audible over sirens. Hospital wait was agony, fluorescent hum mocking our vows. X-rays clean, sprain, not break, but the scare cracked us open. In the ER curtain, he gripped my hand. "Can't lose you to this world's bullshit." "Won't," I promised, kissing his knuckles. "We're the rewrite." Recovery slowed him, art stalled. I stepped up, pitching solo chapters to keep momentum. Friendship rallied, Marcus shipping care packages of comics, Sam leading group meditations via app. Surprises sweetened July's heat. The graphic novel sold pre-orders like wildfire. A film scout emailed, "Visual poetry, screen potential?" Liam laughed it off, but I sparkled. Family fused further. Eleanor's rehab overlapped our visit, her bed tray laden with Mom's flan. Blended now. Paul joked, wheeling her through gardens. Misunderstandings? One final. August, a joint interview for a queer mag reporter probed. Liam, rumors of collab strain. Creative clashes? He froze. I jumped in. Synergy, not strain. Opposites attract, right? But post-tape, he confessed, felt exposed. Like they see our fights, not fixes. We aired it over ice cream in Little Italy. Gelato melting as truths dripped. Transparency's our strength, I said. Climax crested at the book's release party. Rooftop in Soho, skyline twinkling. Crowds thronged, toasts flowing. Theo cornered us, champagne flute raised. Proud of you both. This. Legend. But midway, a heckler from the mag, disgruntled ex, leaked drafts online, twisting our clashes into breakup fodder. Feeds exploded, queer couple crumble. Panic hit, Liam paled. It's over. No, Riley barked, phone in hand. Counter-narrative. We live posted truths, behind-scenes sketches, my annotations, turning leak to launch. Viral surge followed, sales soaring. In the quiet after, Liam pulled me to the roof's edge, city pulse below. You saved us. Again. Team. I corrected, hands entwining. Fall gilded edges. Book tours tandem. Libraries hosting dual readings. Prejudices? Faded to irrelevance, love's light outshining. Winter circled back, snow soft. New Year's, we renewed. To unbetrayed stories. He held me, storyline hours. Autumn's palette bled into November's gray, leaves crunching underfoot as Liam and I navigated the high lines, elevated paths, the Hudson's gleam a distant promise. The graphic novel's buzz had plateaued into steady acclaim. Reviews praising a tender queer epic that defies tropes. But the grind wore grooves. Late edits clashed with my library truck's expansion, routes stretching to Harlem. We'd snap over smalls. Forgotten laundry, whose turn for dishes? It's just stress, he'd say, but eyes betrayed the lie. Riley's wedding anchored us. A sun-dappled June affair turned September reschedule for rain. Now crisp October under tents in the Palisades. Sam in ivory lace, Riley in tailored tux, vows exchanged with wit and tears. To messy loves that last, Riley toasted, glasses clinking. We stood witnesses, Liam's hand in mine, a vow unspoken. Post-ceremony, as dusk painted the cliffs gold, Marcus pulled us for a hike. Boots muddy, air sharp with pine. Marriage looks good on them, he grunted, tossing a frisbee. When's your turn? Liam dodged, literal and figurative. Slow your roll, big guy. But the seed burrowed. That night, back in the city, hotel sheets tangled, he traced my ring finger. Ever think about it? Not the white dress crap, but us. Official. Heart swelled, but caution tempered. Yeah, but after the dust settles. Tours, books, let's breathe. He nodded, but withdrawal crept, sketches sparse, moods swinging. December's chill amplified it. Holiday lights mocked our dimming spark. Mom's Christmas Eve feast bridged gaps. Harper's flying in, table groaning under pernil and pie. Abuela led grace, rainbow rosary glinting. For family, found and forged. Laughter flowed, stories overlapping. Paul's fishing tales, Eleanor's garden winds. But under tinsel, Liam tinced at toasts to future grandkids, excusing to the porch. I followed, coatless, breath fogging. Talk. It's stupid. He lit a non-existent cig, habit's ghost. They see rings on Riley and Sam, assume. But what if I'm not enough? For forever. Doubt echoed mine. Dad's flight, ex's fades. You're more than. We're building, not borrowing happy ends. Embrace thawed him, but tension lingered into January's resolve. The film's options sold. Small studio, queer-led, scouts descending for meetings. Excitement warred with fear. Liam's art bloomed vivid, but sleep evaded. Friends intervened. Sam hosted a vision board night. Magazine strewn, scissors snipping dreams. Riley glued rainbows over thorns. Marcus added muscle cars for levity. Manifest the win, Sam urged. Surprise arrived in February. A fan letter, thick envelope postmarked Seattle. Inside, drawings, kids' clumsy lines of nights from our book, note attached. You made me tell Mom I'm gay. Thank you. Liam teared up, pinning it to the fridge. But conflict stormed in March. Tour kicked off, cross-country, readings in indie shops from Portland to Miami. I joined for coasts, but mid-country stretches pulled taut. One call from a Denver hotel. Miss you. City's too loud without your laugh. Miss your sketches on the pillow. But static crackled, unspoken, distances bite. Return brought blow-up, forgotten airport pickup, my exhaustion flaring. You promised presence. And you promised trust. His voice cracked. I'm trying, Alex. The world's pulling. We separated. Him to studio, me to truck, hours cooling to regret. Riley mediated over coffee. Fights are friction, not fracture. Communicate, damn it. Reconciliation at our diner, pie shared. Sorry, synced. Love's work. Spring's renewal mirrored ours. Library truck partnered with schools, story hours buzzing. Liam's solo exhibit, hands held, sold out, pieces of us abstracted in ink. Tension peaked in May, film's table read invite. LA trip, week-long. Come, he begged. Trucks booked. But envy gnawed. What if Hollywood's glamour eclipsed our grit? He went. Texts daily, script notes, poolside doubts. It's fake without you. Return, he proposed. Not ring, but sketch. Us, intertwined eternally. Marry me? When ready. Tears blurred lines. Yes, but equal. Your tour's my truck. Partners. Summer sizzled with plans. Elopement whispers. Beach or courthouse. Friends plotted. Riley is officiant. Sam on vows. Misunderstandings? One last. June, a tabloid blind item. Queer author. Ex-flames at premiere. Theo, posing for pics. Harmless, but seeds of doubt sprouted online. I confronted, voice shaking. Truth? Old friend chat. Nothing. Hurt flashed. You believe rags over me? Trust tested. We sought Sam. Session raw. Tears cathartic. Patterns, she noted. Past betrayals projecting. Climax crashed at Pride's float. Massive. Our book's cover projected. Crowds cheered, but mid-parade, ex-Derek spotted. Finance bro glow up, arm around a guy. He waved, smug. I froze, alley memory surging. Liam noticed, pulling me off route to a stoop. Him? Forgettable footnote. But vulnerability spilled. What if I'm always waiting for the knife? He cupped my face. No knives. Just this. Us, choosing daily. Surprise followed. Derek approached later, apology slurred. Saw the book. You won. Dismissed. We rejoined the march, hands high. Fall harvested joys. Elopement set for October. Hudson Valley Courthouse. Friends as witnesses. Families blended. Mom's tamales, Eleanor's pie. Prejudices? Abuela's church blessed our union. Rainbow stole draped. Winter warmed with vows exchanged. Simple words. I choose you. Plot twists and all. He held my hands. Storyline sealed. The courthouse steps gleamed under October's sun. Leaves swirling like confetti as Riley bounded up. Tuck's crisp. Bouquet of wildflowers in fist. Showtime. Husbands-to-be. Sam trailed. Braids adorned with autumn blooms. Camera slung for candids. Marcus loomed. Best man bear hug enveloping Liam. About to make it official, bro. Mom fussed with my lapel. Eyes misty. Navy suit tailored thrift. Tie a rainbow subtle stripe. Me Alex, so handsome. Abuela nodded. Scarf looped twice. Bendition. Harper's arrived last. Eleanor dabbing perfume. Paul beaming in khakis. Family. He rumbled, clapping shoulders. Inside, oak-paneled room hummed soft. Judge in robes. Our circle intimate. Vows simple. Sam's script. In joy and jagged edges, I pledge you my hands, my heart, my rewrite. Rings exchanged, silver bands etched with thorns to roses, slipped easy, weights anchoring. I do. Synced. Kiss sealed, cheers erupted. Photos spilled onto the lawn, poses goofy, genuine. Picnic followed in a nearby orchard. Baskets of cheese, apples crisp, champagne popped. Toasts cascaded. Riley's roast on Taming the Artist. Marcus's ode to resilience. Families blended blessings. Honeymoon. Staycation in the city. Hotel in Chelsea. Walks hand in hand, no rush. Nights tangled in sheets. Mornings coffee scented. Husband, Liam tested, grin crooked. Felt right like home. November's chill brought normalcy's gift. Married groove. Library truck winterized. Routes cozy with hot cocoa stations. Liam's studio filled with commissions. Our graphic novel sequel brainstormed over dinners. But tension threaded subtle. Post-wedding blues hit Liam. Honeymoon dip, Sam termed it in check-in. Sketches stalled. He paced, muttering plots. What now? Epic told, what's next? I pulled him to the park. Bench our ritual. Next is living it. Kids? Travel? Your call. Eyes lit. Adopt? Someday. Queer dads. Raising mini-rebels. Dream seeded, but prejudice pricked. Abuela's offhand, natural kids better, retracted hasty. Mom mediated. Times change, mama. Loves the root. Friends buffered. Riley's baby moon photos. Her and Sam expecting via donor. Sparked talks. Uncle Judy's first. Marcus joked. Visiting with beer. Surprise in December. Film greenlit. Shooting starts spring. LA again, Liam groaned. But dual leads. Us consulting. Excitement tempered caution. Boundaries. We vowed. Weekly calls. No solo schmoozing. January's resolutions included therapy tandem. Sam's referral. Unpacking marriage's mirrors. You're not your dad. I voiced. Nor Theo's shadow. His turn. Fear you'll outgrow the quiet me. Growth bloomed. Joint yoga. Brunches with couples from group. Conflict crested February. Valentine's. Film's table read invite. Clashed my truck's literacy fare. Go, he urged. Big for us. But resentment simmered. I bowed out. He returned buoyant. Tales of queer cast. But my silence frosted. Missed the fare, I admitted. Felt sidelined. Dinner confrontation. We're team, but solo spotlights blind. Apology over chocolate. Balance act. Let's script it. Misunderstandings mended with a pact. Monthly, us only escapes. Spring unfurled shoots. Film pre-pro. Our sequel outlined. Pride planning volunteer shift bonded us anew. Booth bustling. Tension peaked May. Wrap party invite. LA weekend. I joined. Glamour dazzled. Red carpet proxy. Stars gushing our story. But a producer cornered Liam. Solo spin-off? Your arc's gold. Jealousy flared. Hotel room aired. Our tale, not yours. He deflated. Tempted, yeah? But no, team or bust. Surprise. We pitched joint sequel there. Greenlit on spot. Summer's heat wave tested. Truck breakdowns. Studio AC fails. Fights petty. Makeup tender. Fall harvested. Sequel launch. Film trailer drop. Trailers viral. Us as consultants credited. Climax in October anniversary. Revisit courthouse. Picnic redux. Storm brewed literal. Rain lashing. Under tent, he knelt anew. Renew? Every year. Yes, rain kissed. Winter's peace. Dreams voiced. Adoption agency intros. Travel fund started. Prejudices? Faded echoes. Families pride marching. Storyline. Ongoing. Hands held.